Hey guys, it's Diana here, and I am doing today the awesome tulip dress. And actually, I am going to do the tunic length today, but it's the same concept, and I will kind of show you what the differences are. But I am so excited because I do love this dress. It's a great dress for any kind of date night or anything fun that you're gonna do like that, even just to wear around the house to feel confident in it, because it gives you a great shape. But I already cut out my pieces. I've got my two backs, so they're not cut on the fold, so there's two of them. I've got my two front pieces, because we have to have two for the ruching. We got some lemons, look at that. Ooh. And I've got my sleeves and my neckband. I went ahead and with the pattern, it gives you, when you cut the front pieces, it shows you a mark, and this is what the difference is between the dress and the tunic. It shows you for the tunic with stars where to mark where you're gonna do your gathering. So I went ahead and pinned my fabric already where the stars are on one side on my back fabric, and then on the other side on my front fabric. If you see it, where did it go? Right there. I think I did it on the other side, but. And if you're doing the dress length, you will do where the little squares are. So it'll show you right there on the pattern. You'll just place it right on top of your piece and mark it with a pin or a clip, or however you choose to mark it. So I already did all that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started so we can do this dress. The first step is we're going to find the back pieces, the two back pieces, and we're gonna put them right sides together, and we're going to sew them together. So I'm putting them right sides together first, and then I'm going to serge them together. Let me go ahead and pin that. I pinned far away from my edge because I don't want to have to remove pins as I'm serging, and this is double brush poly. It sticks together pretty well, so that works fine for me, and then I'll just have to remove it at the end. So here's my serger, so I'm going to serge that together. It's just so much faster not having to move the pins, because I feel like it takes forever to be removing every single pin as I'm sewing. So that seems faster to me. Maybe it's not. So now I'll remove the pins. See? Easy peasy. I will open up my back piece, and I'm going to iron that seam to one side, steam it to one side. Be careful your iron is set on the right setting and you don't end up burning your fabric. Okay, my seam wants to come this way. I steamed it the other way, but it feels like it wants to come this way, so I'm gonna, come on. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and, so the back is put together. I'm gonna go ahead and put it aside. We'll come back to that one later. So now we're gonna do the scariest part of this whole thing, which is the ruching of the front. As I said, I've already marked my fabric and made sure that I marked the right side, because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell which one's the right and which one's the wrong side of the fabric. So this is the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to put my front, well, actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and use my desired method of gathering. How I gather is I use a long stitch on my sewing machine, just a basting stitch, and then I pull together. Now some people do more than that. You can do 2 rows of stitches. If you do it on your serger, you can do it on your serger. It's really up to you, but this is how I do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna go all the way up to where I marked it. Okay, so I searched I did the one side, and this is the front, so I'm doing it on the side, and then I'm gonna do the other front, and I'm doing it on the opposite side. So I gathered on this side of the dress, which would be the right side. Sorry, I have to look at the L for the left. Okay, I'm still there. So this is the right side of the fabric, would be the front, and so I'm gonna do the same to the left side of my other top fabric, which is the one that I want to be on the top. And it looks, you know, people think gathering is so scary. It really isn't that scary. This is actually pretty easy. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do now. Here's the one side that is not, this is the bottom fabric, and this is the side that is not gathered. So I'm gonna put it straight out. And then I've got my fabric over here, my front fabric, that is already sort of gathered. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the back of the fabric, the wrong side, against the right side of my fabric. Which usually when we're sewing things together, we do it the other way around, but this is different. So we're just gonna make the front piece first, and then we sew the dress together. So that's why it goes this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them together. And pin all the way to where that first pin is. So I'm just pinning, right now I'm just pinning the sides. I haven't gotten to my gathered part yet. So now here I am with the gathered part. So here's where I marked my pin. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put that pin in place. Now, we gathered about 5 inches from the bottom, so you'll have like a show, like you will show about 5 inches of your bottom fabric. So I'll go ahead and measure that. And with the dress, you can do, or for a more like a more permanent ruching, you could do 7 inches. So it really is up to you. I'm gonna do 5 because I'm doing the tunic, and I think you'll still be able to see it. So here's 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark 5 with my pin. 5 inches. I'm out of town, so I'm really limited on my tools. So I'm using a measuring tape, which is fine. So now I'm gonna pull my gathers up so that where that pin that I marked, it goes up to where I marked it right here. I'm pulling it up. And I'm making sure that all the gathers are nice and even. And I think that's the hardest part about gathering. Now, this is a very little gathering. I mean, it's not a whole lot of gathering. So it's pretty easy to just tell, like, okay, this looks even, you know? But if you're doing a big thing, you know, some of the dresses, the cute dresses with the ruffles, I would suggest maybe doing 2 lines of the stitch, the long stitch, so that way you could have more of a handle on the gathers. I have never done gathers on my serger, but I know that some people do that, and it's like, I guess, really easy. But anyway, okay, so now my gathers are right there. As you can see, let me show you. Along the edge, touching together, but then I have the 5 inches at the bottom, which is what's gonna show. Let me pull that down a little bit. It's what's gonna show. See, I'm matching the pin that I marked with the other pin. This is a little part that's gonna peekaboo. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pin them together, making sure that I keep the ruffles nice and the serge nice and even. The serge, I mean, not the serge, the gathered parts, or gathered, what did I call it earlier? I always seem to draw blanks when I'm talking to you guys, but I pinned them very close together. That way when I'm sewing, now the good thing about this is we're going to baste this on first before we sew it. So that will help the gathers stay in place. So that when you're sewing the dress together, the gathers don't like come apart. Because I know that's kind of hard sometimes, like when I serge, when I'm making a dress and I'm trying to serge that together, I'm like, ah. So sometimes I will baste it first. So this is a little bit of an extra step, but it is I think a needed step. And I am putting all the way, I'm gonna go ahead and pin kind of in different areas over here, because we're gonna baste the whole dress around. So that way when we put it together, it's not like moved and we end up with like showing a little bit of peekaboo on our neckline, which we don't want. So I did the one side. Now with the other side, it's going to be actually on the underside of the dress. So you won't really see these gathers. It will just make the dress gather up on the underneath. But I'm doing the same basic thing that I did earlier. We're going to match up the same thing I did on the other side. We're going to match up the armsicle and go all the way down to where I did the pin, where I pinned the fabric to show me where I start gathering. You can flip this over like that so you can kind of see where you're going, but I'm just gonna do it this way. And I'm gonna gather it a little bit. And I'm gonna measure this top fabric 5 inches as well and pin it. Should be right at that lemon leaf right here. So I'm gonna pin it. So that way I know that that's how much I'm going to gather this bottom fabric. It really isn't difficult. It's just a little bit of an extra step, but it's so worth it because it looks so good once it's done. But it really isn't difficult. Okay, so here's where that is, and I think I gathered it a little bit too much. Come on. This pen is kind of getting crooked, so it's got my thing all messed up. There we go. Okay, so I matched it up right there and right here. So it's right there, it's where it needs to be, but I want to make sure that my gathers are still even though you won't see them. I don't want a bulk of gather on one little piece, like a bump, you know, and gives me like a weird shape. So I just want to make sure that they're kind of even. Don't worry about it too much. The ruching effect that this gives is so great, like forgiving, and like gives you a great shape on everyone. If you haven't checked out the tester brag page, go ahead and do that, because you're gonna see how great this dress looks on everyone, literally everyone. It looks so good. So good. That is one thing about Ellie and Mac patterns to me, I think. It's just so great that she's got, it fits like a wide range of people. Like, it's not like, oh, I wish that would fit me. Like, no, like literally she goes out of her way to make sure that it will flatter everybody's shape. So that I love. She's very conscious about that. Okay, so there we go. Here we have the part that has nothing, and then there's the ruching starts right there, and we're gonna pin them together. Like I said, we're gonna sew a basting stitch all the way around the actual well, I say dress, but this is not the dress, it's just the front part. So I'm matching up the shoulder seams, I'm matching up the neckline so that it's together, so when I baste, I actually, baste the right places. So I'm just pinning it. Again, I always say I should probably buy some clips, and that's something I'm probably gonna invest on. But I have some clips, did I say pins? Some clips, but I have so many pins, and I just feel like, I don't wanna get rid of them and spend money on clips, but I think pins would just make life so much easier. Okay, so I'll show you. I pinned my top all the way around because I'm gonna go ahead and baste all the way around so that the front is together. So when we attach it to the back, it'll be easy. See my rouging a little bit right there? Okay, so now that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna baste. And I'll start, I guess, at the arm. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, where you start. But I'm gonna go ahead and baste. Let me bring it closer so you can see what I'm doing. I guess you can't really see, but I feel like we're closer together. We're doing this thing together. It would help if I thread my machine. I don't know what happened. You know, machines can be so temperamental at times. I don't understand. I'm like, just do your job. Be kind to me. Here we all go. So I'm basting everything down. I'm basting those ruffles, and this piece of thread got caught. And making sure that they're being basted onto the fabric along the edge so that when I sew it together, it catches all of them. Probably should have started at one end so I could go all the way around. So there it is. That side is basted on. So now we're gonna go all the way around. So let's start down here. Make sure that the edges are aligned. And this fabric is kind of nice to see because it's so bright, so I can tell. Ah, see? My moody machine keeps coming unthreaded. Well, good thing I figured it out before I went half the way around and then realized, oh, it's not threaded. Trust me, I've done that before. I'm sure most of you can tell when your machine is not threaded, and I know it's sometimes I can, but sometimes I'm just like in a hurry. I don't know if you've done that before. In a hurry, and you're like, oh, this is going so smoothly, look at that. And then you finish your project almost, and you're like, oh, that didn't even pan out. This pin is kind of in the way, so I'm gonna move it out of the way. Okay, I'm making sure that it's even on the edges, so that when I go to put it together, my serger will take all the layers, because I don't want to get done and then have a gaping hole from one of my layers. Okay, so now we're gonna turn and go all the way around. Oh, I went too close to the fabric. Turn and go all the way around. Another crazy pin. See, I'm telling you. You're just basting, so it really just needs to go around to make sure the edges are together. It's just a good step to take so that your dress matches up nicely. Here we go around the front. Let me take that pin. Around the other side, let me take that pin. And we're almost there. I just need this shoulder down this arm. And here we are. Okay. So now I have basted my whole front of this dress together. The rouging is done right there. And on this side, as you can see, the little peekaboo section. You know what I forgot to do? I knew it was going too well. and quick. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these pins out. But one of the things that it says on the pattern it recommends to do first, which is fine, I can do it now, but let me see. It's to go ahead and hem. So I'm gonna go ahead and hem now. I did leave a little piece right here, so I'll be able to do that. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm like, this is going really well, and I look at my dress and it's not hemmed like I asked it to be. Why? Why didn't it hem itself before I even started? Seriously, guys, I think it's because I do not like hemming. I don't know why. I mean, it's not really that hard. Just don't like doing it. Okay, I'm just taking a couple of the basting stitches off right here at the end so I can do that. And now I'm hot because you know that happens. Okay, 1/2 inch. And I'm very bad, and I don't know if most people will probably don't like this, but I eyeball my hem. I don't know if you guys do that too or not. It's probably not the right way to do things. But this dress is for me, and I feel like, this top is for me, and I feel like I'm pretty used to kind of know what 1/2 inch looks like. So I'm just going with my gut. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hem this bottom piece first, and then I'll hem the other one. I gotta adjust this because my sewing machine does not like double brush poly, so I have to like manually set it so that it doesn't hate it. Because when I first started working with double brush poly, or really any kind of knit, my sewing machine would eat it. I'm like, what's going on? I can't work with knits. I hate knits. And then I figured out that it was just me. My error. I was doing it wrong. I was going too close to the edge. I was not setting my machine right to where it needed to be. Okay, so here's my hem of my top piece. Sorry guys, I should have done this first. And I'm gonna go ahead and hem the bottom piece of the front as well. At least it's kind of easy to do it right now before I got all the way done with my dress and realized, no! Because it's just a base stitch, so I can just move it up a little bit. Please tell me you make mistakes like I do. You know, and right before I started the video, I said, okay, what do I need to do first? What do I need to do first? Hem. Did I hem first? No, because I hear the word hem and I run. Do you? What is the least fun part of sewing for you? I would say hem. No, I lie. Hemming is probably my second least favorite part. My least favorite part is cutting my pattern. That would be my least favorite.